Today's project is a bird bath. I purchased this locally at one of our hardware stores. You can make your own if you wish. Surface preparation is the first and most important step. You have to make sure that this is clean of any debris. You can use a degreaser and water in a solution to clean this thoroughly. Once it's dried, you're ready to color. Today's project, we're going to use Deco Gel, Direct Colors Deco Gel. I'm going to create in the basin of this bird bath a two-tone color. I'm going to use a darker color in the center and a lighter color around the sides. The lighter color will be Direct Colors Malayan Buff Deco Gel, and for the darker color, I'll be using Coffee Brown Deco Gel to create the inside piece. To create the illusion of a circle, I'm just using a lid from a bucket, very simple, and we'll apply the Deco Gel with a foam brush. I also have some artist brushes with me just to make sure that I can get every crevice and corner. Unfortunately, with any garden decor statuary, you're going to find that there are uneven places, holes, other things that you'll need the right tools to fill in. I'm also going to use a concrete palette, this one I've used before, to put my Malayan Buff Deco Gel out so I can easily reach it. And you can see the consistency is quite thick. So you can use it just like you would a paint, an oil paint, etc. For this project or any other you may do. So take the Deco Gel, foam brush. Make sure you keep this stationary. You don't want it moving around. If it moves around, you'll have an uneven edge. So be very careful when you're applying this. And then just apply thickly on the surface and cover the entire bird bath or project of your choice. We finished the Malayan Buff on the outside of our bird bath, and you can see the crusty kind of cover that's on the top. That's perfectly normal. It's continuing, the acid is continuing to work on the surface. Typically a Malayan Buff will be left on the surface for approximately 8 hours in order to get the full color. So now we're going to color the inside of the bird bath a darker color. As I said before, we're going to select Coffee Brown. Let me put this aside. Coffee Brown is a darker color than the Malayan Buff, and it's always better to start with your lighter color because if you have some imperfections, which fortunately we do not, or an uneven line, you can always touch it up with a darker color and it will color the lighter portion more evenly. So I'm going to begin to apply this. Just be very careful of your line. Try to keep it as accurate as you can. Fortunately with the Deco Gel, it applies just as like a paint, as I mentioned before. So you can be very accurate with your application and produce this kind of two-tone coloration. So. Now if you look carefully, you can see that the Deco Gel is already foaming at the top or reacting with your concrete, which is an excellent sign. It just demonstrates how fresh the Deco Gel is and also that you're going to get a nice rich color. Now you can also see from the application that we have still yet a perfect circle. And what you choose to apply this with, and I could in fact have applied this with an artist brush as well, but I think we're going to get a nice crisp line with what we have. So once I finish the application, and one coat will do, although you can put 2 on if you so desire, right over the crust of the first coat. There's no need to do any washing between coats. So when I finish this application, I'm going to leave it to process a little bit longer. The Coffee Brown I like to leave on for 3 to 4 hours usually to get a full robust color, but you can leave it on for a shorter period of time if you'd like a lighter or medium tone brown. And then we will proceed to the neutralization and the sealing step. Okay, we've left our Deco Gel on the bird bath overnight. As you can see, we have a sort of a hard material that formed on the surface, and I have brushed that off with my acid staining brush. And we've got a small residue on the surface that I'm cleaning off with a neutralizer, which is water and baking soda. For a spray bottle such as this, which I think is easiest to work with on these kinds of garden decor projects, you just need a tablespoon or less of the baking soda to your water solution. Make sure that you shake it regularly to keep it mixed up so it properly neutralizes the surface. So we'll get started doing that. So you just spray this on. Use your brush to remove the debris. Once we've completely cleaned off the debris, it'll take a few minutes, but once we've cleaned it off, we're going to begin with the next step, which is the application of a fine mist of liquid acid stain to tie the colors together and to give it a more interesting appearance. So after I finish cleaning this, and we'll clean it with clear water, remember it's very important that when you are working on this step that you make sure that you've cleaned off all the debris, and that's not just the Deco Gel, it's also the baking soda and water solution that can sit on the top and leave the surface dirty. So make sure you cleaned it thoroughly with clear water. Nothing should come off the surface but clear water when you've done a proper cleaning job, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we finished the Deco Gelling process, cleaned off all the debris. Our surface is relatively clean, but I wanted to add some additional character and depth to the surface. So for this process, I'm going to use our liquid acid stain, which is a coffee brown matching the center portion of our Birdbath. So I'm just going to apply, just lightly misting on the surface randomly to just give it a little bit more color. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with that. And just be real careful in the application of the stain. Always wear gloves. That's an important part. We're not going to be using much here. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. All right, we're going to leave that to process and come back in just a short while and neutralize.
Neutralize the Birdbath after the Deco Gel has processed for 8 hours. Malayan Buff requires a longer activation time than the other gel colors. Spray a baking soda and water solution from a spray bottle to neutralize the Deco Gel. Carefully clean the surface to prevent both cross-contamination between colors and to avoid a mess. Once all the excess stain and debris have been removed and the surface rinsed clean, allow the concrete to completely dry in preparation for sealing. Selecting the right sealer for concrete that will be submerged in water much of the time is very important. Acrylic sealers tend to become milky in appearance and sometimes delaminate when underwater for extended periods of time. For the best long-term results, use DCI penetrating lithium hardener sealer for outdoor concrete water features. While a penetrating sealer offers little or no surface gloss, it will seal the pores of the concrete from the bottom up for excellent protection against the freeze-thaw cycle and enhanced durability.